Here's a piece of paper. That's fine. You can just.
Good evening. Hello, everybody. This is Veronica Borrego, AOB president. Sorry we were running a little bit late. Just wanted to make sure all our stuff was working. Can you guys hear me? Those that are on, you can just let me know how the sound is. I want to make sure the volume is good and you guys can hear us. I don't know if the microphone is. Hello, hello. Can somebody let me know if you can hear me?
I can hear you. Sorry.
All right, if somebody could just comment, the volume is good, you can hear us, or you can hear me. Audio is working. Perfect. Thank you, Matt.
Perfect.
All righty. Okay, so we are going into our second evening. We changed it from coffee because none of us drink coffee to just a candidate corner. That way we can have just an informal, again, another informal meeting with the candidates, a discussion, whatever topics we come up with. Again, like I said the last time, any comments that are disrespectful or anything on the chat will be hidden or blocked. So I just ask that you be respectful. You can ask questions. You can make comments, but just please be respectful. Alrighty. And we have Miss Minerva Peña again here on the phone, and we have here in the office right now Miss Nelda Rocha and Mr. Caballero. I will be bringing them on the screen right now. And Mr. Trevino, Coach Farley, is on his way. He should be here any minute now. Let me go ahead and switch this over and make them the bigger one. I think all right, there we go. Let me fix the camera a little bit. All right, say hi. Hi.
Hey guys, how are you all?
Hello.
All righty. So, can you put Miss Trevino on this right there, right there. Perfect. All right, and Coach Farley just walked in. So we are going to go ahead and get. Hello. Say hello. We're already on live.
Man, I like the setup, guys.
I know we're trying to figure it out. Hopefully it works. I don't know if we need to move the mic a little bit further that way.
Oh,
You think it's
we
good?
can. I think.
Just a little bit to work right there, and then that way, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Hopefully y'all can still hear me, but more importantly, I want y'all to hear the candidates. So again, if you guys can just introduce yourselves and what place you're running in, I would greatly appreciate that. And we're gonna go with the order of the places.
Okay. My name is Victor Caballero. I am on running in place 3, position number 1.
I am Nelda Rocha. I am running in position number 5.
My name is Farley Trevino. I'm running in position 7 or place 7.
Ms. Peña?
My name is Minerva Peña, and I'm running for VID trustee, place 6.
Perfect. All right. Okay. I'm not sure if, well, I'm pretty sure that you all watched the board meeting yesterday, the special call board meeting. But if you guys can give kind of your input just on the information that was provided yesterday, which was like the TRE that they went back and looked in all these years, things like that. Also, they discussed like the tax increases, and the bonds that they're talking about and all that stuff. So if you guys want to kind of give your input on that, what's your take on it, on what was discussed yesterday? I know they stressed a lot about the fine arts, the performing arts building, I'm sorry, and like the buildings. They had also, I think it's called Ethos.
The engineering company.
Ethos?
The engineers were there.
They were very articulate, those gentlemen, so
Yeah,
I
they were really-
appreciated their presentation. I want to be like that when I get older. So, but they were really good, and I enjoyed listening to what they were saying. So if you guys want to give your input on that and just let us know,
Okay.
what you guys feel about the meeting that happened yesterday. Well, yesterday, actually, that was the facilities meeting, but.
It was, yeah, the facilities meeting. If you guys don't mind, I'll kind of jump in with that one because it's what we've been saying all along. So you had Mr. Cespedes mention at his part of the presentation, through it all, they need a plan. Well, that's what we've been saying. There's no plan.
Mhm.
They've had 3 years plus, almost 4, and there's really no plan, vision, what we've been saying. And then you had the gentleman from Ethos. Did I say that right? Ethos?
Yeah, Ethos.
The engineers. And after all their presentation, after hearing everything, that's exactly what they said. Get us a plan. You have good workers, which we've known, right?
Right.
It's not our personnel, it's our leadership. Unfortunately, there's been no plan. And once you get a plan, and they're asking for a 5 to 10 year plan, whichever board is in there, if you're following the plan, and if the plan is well executed, they can do the job. They'll do the job. The other thing they did say is because of the financing. The reason why we didn't get the way I heard it, and correct me if I'm wrong, we didn't get the Performing Arts Center was because the law changed on how the taxes were done. So when they originally did the TRE, the way they could get the pennies, the coppers, the pinks, the golds, whatever they called them. I know they threw in pink because maybe it's because it's October. But however they can use those pennies or collect those pennies, it changed because the law changed. And once that law changed, they could not gain that same revenue. That's what I understood. And because they didn't have that revenue, they also had talked about 2 buckets. One bucket is for the way you spend it is for certain things, and the other one, the day-to-day operation. Well, because of how they could not collect anymore, they didn't have enough, so they had to use what was originally kind of thought about for the Performing Arts Center was used over here. So there was no money. They don't have enough of the revenue. That's what was said. Mr. Elizondo, I heard him question and ask, some questions regarding why, what actions would have already been taken, because if you've already have an action plan, then you're supposed to roll with it, right?
Right.
The follow through.
And what I understand is they couldn't. Mr. Cespedes said he didn't find it. Mr. Elizondo said he had found some information, but at the end of the day, it was the last thing I heard was it was tabled. So they never finished what we thought, because I was still working at that time when they came around and come on, let's get that TRE. We were told no, that we ended up with no Performing Arts Center, which is a shame.
We've been, when I was teaching at Rivera High School, they had promised us a Performing Arts Center out there. And to this day, there is no Performing Arts Center. And we don't know, because we're not on the board yet, but we don't know where the money really is going. There's too many innuendos. There's too much doubt. They need to be, the big word is transparent. We have no transparency. We need to have transparency. It's a big buzzword, but people don't follow through with that. As far as a tax increase, I don't think we can tax the Brownsville people anymore. They're maxed out. I know people are losing their homes because of taxes. The bond issue, I don't want a bond issue. I think we have enough money if we appropriate the money correctly. And I was asked today we had a meeting with the retired teachers, and I was asked, you're a coach, what about fine arts? I love fine arts. I love music and dance and sports and every aspect. All kids. I have grandchildren. I don't know if they're going to be athletes. They might like chess. They might like fine arts. That doesn't matter to me. Another question that was brought up to me, and it was, what if we don't support you? And I said, if you don't support me and I win, you win. If you don't support me and I lose, well, I understand, but it doesn't matter. There is no grudges. We have nothing against Teachers, whether they vote for us or not, I think it's a win-win for the teachers, because if they vote against us and we win, they win. We're not going to hold grudges. We're not going to say, no, who are your kids? We're going to retaliate against your kids. We're not going to do that. I think it's a win-win situation for the students of Brownsville. That's how I feel about that. And I'll pass it on to Minerva.
Yes, sir.
Can I pass it to you, please?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. The only thing is, I was on the board when the TRE was passed, and I remember pushing that so hard. And I remember promising that the TRE, the main objective of the TRE was to build that building. And then it comes and said it didn't have enough money because other projects were done instead. We gave our word that fine arts center was going to get built. We gave our word. And unfortunately, the people in charge of the money didn't move to get it done. It came in and said it was too much money, things have changed, this and that, what have you. We gave our word. We gave our word. I remember when we were at different events, that was one thing that they pushed forth with the board members, and our administrator and our superintendent promised that we would do that. And if the TRE came in and we couldn't use that money, we're going to find other money to do it and make it a priority. It breaks my heart because I asked why and why. And they always came up with some kind of reason and concern. Ladies and gentlemen, everything in world, everything in life, either you do it or you cannot make up excuses and use certain examples of why you can't do it. And now they want to do another bond election. Let me tell you how brokenhearted this community is, that PSD gave their word that they were going to do what they said they were going to do when the TRE passed. The TRE passed, and it didn't come to fruition. It didn't come to fruition. So I don't see it possible to go out there and tell the community to sign up and vote for another $400 million bond election when they are broken hearted because we gave our word. I'll say that 100 times. And it didn't happen. When you promise someone something, you do what you have to and find the means to come through with your word. Because your word is the only thing valuable in your life. When God calls you home, when you're no longer in this community, when you move away, the only thing that will stay is your word. And that is worth gold. And like I said, I heard what they said. I know they were talking, but my concern is when you say you're going to do something and you're not home and you're going to do it, guess what? You're going to find a way to do it without a doubt. But if you become wishy-washy, then you weren't being honest to begin with, because you don't go back on your word, not with the community. Because the community is the reason we're here. The community is why we serve. The community is who we serve. And all this money belongs to the community, not to us. It belongs to the community to help their children grow, shine, excel, and become the people they were supposed to be, the people they were meant to be with the help of the education system. So right now, as far as the new bond coming out, I have a lot of questions because what happened with the TRE, there's a lot of questions in everybody's mind.
Thank you, Minerva. I'll answer my part. From what I understood, and Minerva, you were on this board, all that money was in a restrictive account. If it was in a restrictive account, how our leaders spent this is beyond me. First of all, if we would have had this plan, I don't care who the leaders are, whether it be the board, the administrative, if there is a plan, we follow that plan. If the board changes, it doesn't matter. If the superintendent changes, it doesn't matter. We follow the plan. But and I said this before, we have not developed any plans for maintenance, for facilities. We don't have plans for goals for the board or for the superintendent. We are very behind the curve on a lot of these things. This year, and I told you at the last taping, bond election for 456 million in a debate with my opponent. She said it could go as high as 800 million. Wow. I said, this is crazy. We cannot afford to have the poorest of our citizens, and this is why I'm running for this board as well. The poorest of our citizens who are getting out taxed from their property, such as your homes, and we've got to analyze this. Where are we going? And I sincerely think that we're lost. And if the ethos engineering just told you we need a plan, what does that say? We need a plan, and we need to develop it fast.
We need a 10-year plan, a mission and a vision, regardless of who the board members are. And we need to just get on that plan and stick with it. But I think we're in a dark room and we're shooting at, we don't have a target.
I think the important thing about all of this is, are you kidding me that it took this long for somebody to tell them they needed a plan? You're on the school board. Year one, you should have started with a plan. They started with other things year one, and now they're almost there 4 years and they're barely starting on a facilities plan. And you can't blame COVID. COVID, it happened to the world. It didn't, people still had plans for their
Right.
future, for the lives of what they were going to have to do. So does the school district, so does the school board. I hope that helped the question.
Let me add something. Politicians are very well spoken and very well spoken. However, we're not politicians. We're teachers and retired teachers. And we're not as well spoken as they are because they'll distract you with numbers and ideas and everything. But the bottom line, there's no product. Oh, but we've done this, and they'll give you a percentage of numbers, and we've done that, and they'll give you a percentage of numbers. That's great, but we're still in debt. We still don't have a fine arts center. We still, it's just too much. I mean, and I understand because they're politicians. We're not politicians.
Well, now that you brought that up, when you go to the website, let me rewind. About 2 months ago, 3 months ago, you could have gone back to the website, and here's your goals for the board. Bunch of numbers. This was it.
Right.
There's no targeted areas. I mean, they say target because of scores.
This is curriculum.
This is the curriculum goals. But that's not all the board does. Yes, they need to focus on the curriculum, but there was nothing about maintenance.
Facilities.
There was nothing about, all these different programs where we want to grow. It was just,
It's got to be a strategic plan.
it's got to be all across.
Yeah.
All across.
It takes time, it takes work, and it takes not looking at the clock because you got to do that work before you can come back and prepare all of these plans
Hours.
and implementation. You're going to have various times to come together as a board to address these types of issues. Let's not blame next boards or previous boards.
No.
What we got to do come November, we've got to sit and meet with everybody, and we're going to have these types of tough conversations, whether it's an existing board or whether it's a new board or a new administration. This is the issue. We're not looking 10 years down the road, 5 years down the road. Got to start now. The time is now.
I agree. Okay. Another thing that I wanted to bring up is we do have. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask here. There's a game tonight, and my son wants to go to the game, so I'm being mom also.
Right.
I wanted to also bring up one of the things that we were really excited about, it hadn't dawned on me, but one of my board members said, this is the first time we're going to have this many former or retired educators on the ballot, right? Mm-hmm. So you are bringing in a wealth of knowledge into a position that can help us because you are coming from
The classroom,
specifically from the classroom, right?
Right.
You all are fully aware of STAR testing, what it entails. Yes, it changes every year. Yes, expectations change every year, but you are fully aware of what that is. You are fully aware of what it is to be in a classroom and what it is to be in a classroom that is packed,
Yep.
right?
right,
You're fully aware we have every level represented in this group.
Yep.
We have elementary level represented, we have middle school represented, and we have high school represented. We
Central
have
office.
administration represented.
Oh,
So-
don't forget parent, parent, parent of BISD students.
grandparent,
Grandparent.
great,
Yeah. But we were also parents. So
Right.
we have thrown in our loves, our lives into that whole thing. So you can't say I'm a parent
Right,
because we are parents too.
right. And we also have somebody who served in the armed forces, right? Well, not on the armed forces, in like with the police department,
yes.
With-
who
Yes.
has knowledge of safety and security, which is also very
Mhm.
important, especially in the times that we're living in, right?
Correct.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
when we talked about that, we were like, wow, like I don't remember ever having this many educators up for election. And that got me excited because it's like, you're really, you know what we go through, you know what we are going through, right?
Yes.
And so who better to represent us than people who lived it, who struggled through it,
Mhm.
and who really all of you all are just fresh out of
Yep.
the district.
Out
You all
of,
haven't
out of the
been-
profession.
yeah, like you haven't been out that
And
long.
even though I've been out, I probably think I'm the one who's been out the longest. I've still been actively involved, and I think it's really important that I've never left,
Mhm.
even though technically I retired, but
and
I've
you have
been.
a spouse who's in the district. As
Oh,
well.
he's still
So
working.
You guys are you still have a skin in the game, right?
Yes.
That's how you say it. Those are the
Yes.
words. So please talk about how, I know the last time we had, I think I said earlier, I said it yesterday, but it was last week. We talked about how you are not, this is not a stepping stone for another position.
No.
You guys kind of gave your why, but what can you give me just like a brief summary of the knowledge that you bring from your level? Miss Rocha is specifically for like reading,
Yes.
which in our district right now is
The little-
right. Mr. Caballero brings in the knowledge of how to pick up a school that is struggling and what he did and what he can bring to the table
Mhm.
to offer for all the schools to be able to pick up their scores and bring kids back, right?
Right.
And then Coach Farley, you help with the rounding out the student, right? They're not just book and pencil. They're athletes, and you talked about how you're also for fine arts and things like that. And then Miss Peña, what you can bring to the table as far as security goes and what we need to be looking for. How can we not outsource, but how can we look for grants and different kinds of funding to help with all these things that we need for our district that we know the state is not providing. So what are we gonna do, right, to kind of
Right.
like help with that? So if you guys can kind of just give a little bit of information as far as that goes, and whoever wants to start is
Miss Peña, you want to go ahead and go first?
Yes, our objective, and by the way, Barney, yes, you were right when you said great grandparents. My great granddaughter, I have great grandchildren. You were correct, Barney.
I was pointing
Our
at you.
objective is to make sure that everything we do is for the teachers, for the students. If you take care of the teachers, the students are gonna have everything they need. And when we take care of the teachers who help our students, our district's gonna thrive. And remember, what we do with our students is the future of our city. We don't want to have our children leave our district, our children leave our city, because we only educate half of them, or because the room is so crowded that you've got 29 students and only 15 of them get the attention, and what happens to the rest? We gotta treat every child with the same respect, with the same ability to teach them, because you'll never know the child that you're teaching, what their tomorrow will bring, and what they're gonna be able to do for your district. When it comes to safety, I'm a big advocate of that. And you have to pay attention. And you have to address every little issue, no matter how small you think it is. And when you ignore it, it can get big. And who loses? The student loses. Who loses? The teacher loses. Who loses? The school loses. And who loses? The community loses. Because if they can't trust you to take care of the students and make sure it's safe and everything's right, and you make sure you keep the parents informed of everything that's happening in the school. Don't wait for the parent to find out through social media that someone had a BB gun in their backpack. Don't wait for the parents to find out that there was a big fight at one of the schools and someone got hurt. You can't do that because then you look like things are being hidden. And who wants to work or who wants to have their child taught in a place that they are not as upfront and as clear for what's happening in the school? It's very, very important. Because remember, we're signing up to serve, not to be served. That's the objective. We're all self-sufficient. God has blessed us with good salaries. We support ourselves. And we were all brought up by our parents that we take nothing from anybody. You have what you have because you earned it, and you don't owe it to anyone because you're entitled to your earnings in your career, in your retirement. And this way people will know they can trust you because you're there to help them, not there with your hands out to see what you can get from them. That's a very important, and it's something that needs to be across the board, not just the school boards, but our city, our county, our state, our nation. And the reason that we don't have people that stand up, because they're afraid. They're afraid to be talked about. They're afraid to be insulted. They're afraid to be, embarrassed because that's what they use so that good people won't stand up and fight and won't stand up and serve. We need to make sure that we make it clear that we're here for the student and the teacher. And we're going to have, a strong back that no matter what they say, we know we're doing right. We're going to continue going forward and give our time, our ability, and our skill to the teachers and the students. Like I said, if the front line is taken care of, everything falls in place. Without a front line, you don't need administrators. Without a front line, you don't need a superintendent. Without a front line, you definitely don't need school board members. Front line. I've done that since I worked for the state. Take care of the front line and everything else falls in place. And our front lines are our teachers, our students, and every employee that works with the schools and takes care of those kids and takes them to and from the school. All of those people are front lines, our custodian, our manual, our bus drivers.
I agree.
Our cafeteria workers, our teachers, our students, all of those are the front line. Take care of them and they'll take care of the community.
Thank you, Ms. Peña.
Thank you, Ms. Peña. Some of the things that I'd like to talk about are the issues at hand and not talk about irrelevant things that have nothing to do with academics, nothing to do with students, nothing to do with teachers. We need to go back to classrooms to have 24-1, especially in science. It's too dangerous to have labs with more than 24-1 students.
You're talking about the high school level.
I'm talking about the high school level. Yeah. To have labs, it's just, you lose control of the class. You lose too many kids. One of the examples I love to use is that if you tell every student, look, you're going to run the 100 meters. We're all going to go out and measure to see how fast we run 100 meters. Some kids are going to tell you, I can run pretty fast, sir. That's great. Let's test you. And some kids are going to say, sir, I'll be happy if I can walk 100 meters. So you have to adjust to every student. And if that student can barely walk 50 meters, that's okay. We're going to start slowly. And I'm talking about, that's athletics, but academically, we have to serve all our kids. And we don't blame the previous board. We don't blame the previous teacher, or the high school shouldn't blame the middle school. Well, they didn't prepare them for this. And the middle school shouldn't blame the elementary. Well, they didn't prepare them for this. Get the students right where they're at and guide them up. One of the things we have to do as a board, and I'm going back to this, is we need to problem solve. And I know we just left the classroom, but I would still go back and ask teachers today, what's going on today? we just, and I'd love to go back and substitute just so I can take the pulse of what's going on in the schools. And as soon as I go substitute, teachers come up to me, Mr. Trevino, we need this, we need this, we need this. And I'm listen, I'm not gonna say, go back to your classroom, what are you doing? And I love to walk the halls where I'm gonna substitute because they have their right, they're right on the in the fire, right? We left the fire a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. But when you go back into the fire, you can feel it. And I think problem solving, communicate with the teachers immediately, communicate with each other, and then collaborate. And let's solve it. Let's have that mission, that vision, the long term, the short term, the medium term. Let's get all those issues out of the way. I don't like when you go to a school and the principal is so stressed out because the AA came by and started, it rolls downhill. I don't like that. We know what the issues are. Can we walk into a school and say, what do you need? Hire the best, give them what they need, and leave them alone. Don't breathe down their neck. It's hard to get anything done when you're breathing down somebody's neck. Anyway, that's how I feel about that situation.
Thank you, Mr. Trevino. My experience has been at the elementary level. I served as a principal, assistant principal at the elementary level for quite a while. I'll tell you, when I was reassigned to another school, I made sure that the first order of business was to tackle the achievement gaps, that existed. I needed to know my students, so I would take all the PRCs, bring them to my office, look at the students' abilities, where they were at year to year with grades, year to year with their assessments. So we developed a plan together. Okay, I've been a principal at the middle school. I've been an assistant principal at the high school. Never was a high school principal. I've been at the main office. I was the second in command in a rural community called Mathis ISD. I was the assistant superintendent there for 3 years. All of these things that I'm talking about that are step by step and that we get to do a lot of improvements didn't happen overnight.
Right.
You have to plan it. You have to make the adjustments as you move. I'm going to tell you this. We have our hourly employees right now, because I dealt with a lot of the hourly employees. I promised you that in November, those of you that are out there in November, when we take over, because we will take over, I have to tell you, this policy that has been established to hourly employees who get into issues and accusations and you need representation and you're not treated like the professionals.
Vaguely.
This is a policy out of I don't know where, who approved it, because we don't respect you as employees of our district, then I don't know why we're serving you in that capacity. Not only, and I challenge you, talk to your teacher organizations, because if they're not fighting for you regarding this policy, I gotta tell you, if I have a teacher organization that's not supporting and trying to change this policy, I'd be looking around for a new teacher association.
Yep.
There's just an association here that agreed. It's not AOBE, that agreed to this policy, and I have to tell you, that's shameful. But I'm going to recommend to all of you out there, we promise that that's one of the areas that we're going to attack. There's a grievance process right now regarding this policy. I believe it's going to go to a level 2 here very soon. And I know that information after speaking to the attorney. I got to tell you, you don't have to worry about things like that. We just got together because of your vote and the endorsement that we received. But I promise We're going to be with you. We're going to walk the line side by side with you. We're not any, just because we're the board members are at the top of the organizational chart, doesn't mean that we're any better. We're just going to make this system better for you, the employees. We got to change our ways. And if we're not changing our ways, then I'll tell you, I'll be the first ones to step aside. But I'm not going to step aside because I'm very dedicated to what I do best, and that is to help people and to take care of the educational community, which is our staff that exists here in BISD. I'm going to also share this with you. When you come to us, I want to tell you, I've got a principal right now who's resigning this Friday. He says, too much work, not enough time to do what I got to do. That's shameful. We're losing all our people. I'm gonna be that person that supports the staff. You do everything that we ask you to do, we're going to support you. The supplies, they're going to come to you. The programs, they need to come to you. I've already had a little discussions with the superintendent, and as well, we need to change course. The vision has to change. And right now, we got folks that don't have the experience. You got 3 folks here, and you got a board member who's been on this board, Minerva Peña. And I'm going to say this. We are ready for a change. Are you ready? That's my question. Thank you so much.
Just so we can make sure that the members understand, the policy is DCD local. One of the things that I do is I just out of the way I am, I like to research. So I've been researching this DCD local, and it seems like the incumbent in my race seemed to put it on the agenda right away. It came right away. If you go back to YouTube videos, you're going to find it. And it was a board approved on February 1st, 2023 at a regularly scheduled board meeting. You can also check out that February 7th is when they finally signed it. So we're willing to do the work. We're willing to go through. But back to your original question about where's my expertise, curriculum in classroom, and understanding the STAR test, because there was a time that I helped TEA by writing test questions for the test bank. And so I understand rigor, I understand, and yes, reading is my area, but I have little grandkids. And what do you do when everybody is on approaches? And this is something that I really feel that the community, the parents need to understand what approaches means. Most of our population, and I do have the results because I looked them up. I wrote them down and made my own graphic organizer. I didn't wait for the district to give it to me. As soon as it was out, I put it out there. I tabulated it all. Parents don't understand what approaches it. Our board members, our current board members, don't understand what approaches means. They're celebrating approaches. Approaches basically means that a child doesn't have all that they need for the grade level, according to the assessment. They are going to need significant support for the next year. So not only do they have the objectives required for that next year, they still got to bring in this. And then you're overloading the classes. This is at every grade level. Every grade level. And yes, my focus was middle school. But if you start with the little ones, and you don't have them at least checking on can they read, can they do some basic writing, can they do some basic math, and then you're going to go test them in 3rd grade, and you're sending them unprepared to 3rd grade. They test, and they're at approaches, but you move them on to 4th grade, so they still need the 3rd grade to go to, plus what they're going to get on 4th grade, and you're putting too many kids in one classroom. Who's supporting that teacher to get this stuff done? And how are mamas and daddies, if they don't even know what that means? How are they going to help their children? Those are my concerns. And this is every grade, every test,
Every level.
every level. When you have people on the board that don't understand it, it's very easy for programs to be thrown at them. Say,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
that's going to help. That's going to help. Sure, the teacher. Did you ask the teachers? Like you said, have you communicated with the people in the trenches, really trying to help them? Enough is enough.
What do you need to succeed? Ask the teachers. Don't give them, this is what you're going to do to succeed. What you ask the teachers.
And I said it last time, and I'll keep saying it. You trust them enough, and God forbid, in a lockdown situation to protect those children's lives. You don't trust them enough with the curriculum that they prepared and studied for. I have a little problem with that.
So you're mentioning, so two things, right? You can't take away experience.
No.
Which you all have the wealth of, right?
Yes.
Um, that's one of the things that I think is the most important, right? That you're bringing an experience to a position where you can make a change for the better,
A
right?
different-
Yes,
yes.
ma'am.
But you bring your knowledge,
Yes, ma'am.
you know,
That's what-
Yeah, you can't prorate that.
right?
There's some things that as a board member, you cannot interfere.
Correct.
That's
Right.
gotta be
That's true.
administrative. But we have the background knowledge if something comes to us for approval or disapproval.
You have awareness.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
So my other question, because you brought up curriculum, right?
Yes.
I was having a conversation the other day with I don't remember who, I think it was a member, talking about how they're required to turn in lesson plans and lesson plans and lesson plans, but then you have people who are hired to write scope and sequence and to write all these things, right?
Right.
So, in your opinions as educators, is that a lesson plan? It guides, right?
Right.
Yes, you have to individualize it for your classroom, but you follow this, right?
Correct.
So, is there a need to submit a whole other lesson plan? Or can they use the scope and sequence and adjust and add their own information for whatever it is that they're individualizing or whatever accommodations they have to do for their class, depending on the kids that they have and the population in their classroom? What is your opinion as far as that goes?
Can I jump in?
Yes.
I'm gosh, back in my day, when my Vistata days, there was a group of us who worked together, and I did curriculum writing in my time, on and off. But there was a group of us in reading teachers, and we would select novels, and we would teach all our teaks based on the novels, and we would switch it around, and our primary focus would change. So we always had to change our assessments, our evaluative tools, all these different things. But the scope and sequence was our guide. And the thing is, you're getting people, the specialists, right, who understand you can't do multiplication first if you don't have add and subtract down pat.
Right.
So there's got to be some. For language arts, everything is recycled and repetitive, and it grows. But I don't need anybody to tell me figure 19 is the biggest issue that we've got here, and that's inferencing. But how can a child infer if they don't have strong phonics and they don't have fluency? So of course you're always going to have figure 19 is a problem, but I can't go to figure 19 or inferencing skills until I can get them to at least read a little fluent. Right. I'm just, yes, scope and sequence. Yes, I do think it can be used. I'm not the curriculum specialist, but once, like Mr. Caballero said, as a board member, that part belongs to administration. Their plan that they don't have right now, the plan that they will come up with, we can, hey or nay that. But we need to give these teachers, they know their stuff. We hired them. They know their stuff.
We did curriculum writing. I happened to do curriculum writing for aquatic science. It was the most awesome experience because we collaborated. We went through a course of Texas, curriculum, and it was awesome because yes, we designed the aquatic science for all the high schools, and we did the curriculum writing. However, when we would communicate with each other in the high schools, it was, where are you at right now? Well, some were further ahead, some were a little far behind, some were way behind. But we had that flexibility to adapt to our students, depending on who we had, right? So that's, to me, it's hard to write lesson plans because it's very difficult to stick to them. And then when they walk in, you should be here, but you're over here. But why are you so far behind over here? But yet with this class, you're so far ahead. We know we have different skill levels, skill sets. I mean, I don't think teachers should be writing lesson plans. I mean, well, we're experienced teachers, right? But we can adjust, give them a curriculum, give them a guide. And that's the other thing that I like. We worked on lesson plans as a team because it's so much work, and we share it, and of course we adjust it accordingly, you know? So I don't think teachers need more work. They need more collaboration, and everything should be, whereas the science department, biology as a whole, whereas aquatic science across the district, not necessarily, well, you need to do your own lesson plans. No, the whole district should work together. We should all work together. It's less work for everybody. But when they make you work alone, it's frustrating, and you get people that want to leave the district. Too much stress.
When I retired, I believe they were bringing in the lesson plans into the computer system. Is that the way we're doing it still?
Yes.
I believe I haven't been there for 3 years, so.
Okay,
Yes,
maybe,
it's still-
Lázaro, is
Are you still
is,
doing it?
is that the way it's being done?
You're still doing the questions, I mean, the
Yeah.
lesson plans through the computer?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, that new program that
Right.
we have.
A lesson plan is a guide. We have the scope and sequence, but a lesson plan is a guide to help you in your classroom. Mr. Trevino is correct. When you have classes, and if you've got several preps at the secondary level, you're gonna need those lesson plans, because if you've got students that are moving along faster than your second period class, you definitely need those guides. But the way they're being made right now, and what I have heard as well from the teachers, again, I've been retired for 3 years, and I always learned a lot from an education by lending an ear. And if we need to go back to a new system, that new system is not in the board's role. We will listen, but we can only throw that information back at the administrative team, and let's look at it. Let's talk about it, and let's have a discussion, because we are not supposed to get into the operations of day to day. That belongs in the superintendent's seat along with his team. Let's not confuse all of that, because sometimes we're having elections right now, and everybody thinks, oh, we can give anything to anybody. Well, there's some things that are board responsibility, but then there's some things that are administratively, and we can have those conversations with the superintendent, not a problem, and so that they can give us an idea as to how they're managing those components. So I just want to make sure everybody understands is that not everything is at a board level.
Right.
We got to give autonomy also to the folks that are leading the charge on a day-to-day basis. If we interfere, because remember, I've been saying there is no board of 8.
Right.
There is no board of 8. It's a board of 7, and I will continue to say that simply because the board of 7 is the one that is at the top of the organizational chart. The superintendent is the leader of the school district. Are we going to be engaged with him? Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. The only thing is that I disagree with that, because everybody wants to declare the superintendent into the board. I'm sorry, he's not an elected official. And then if not, all of us have the ability to run a district. And then where does the leadership and the board stand in a different level? So those are the things that, we want to have conversations. We want to learn from what's out there. And if we need to, we sit down in some of these meetings. If we are allowed to do that, I welcome that. And I think it's a good interaction. We need to interact with one another.
Ms. Peña?
And yes, and I know what Mr. Caballero said, but it's not that we don't interfere. No. It's that when we can question something is happening in the front line, and the questions brought up to us, we go and ask for an explanation. Why is this happening? That's not interfering. That's the board's role. To go and see and say, well, we're not going to be able to help you with your class. No. If something is being done and it's to the point where it's not, good for the teacher, it's not productive, and it's brought to our attention, even though we have no authority to go and change it. We have no authority to tell them what to do. But our job is to look in it and question and ask them, tell me why this is being done. If this is the effect, this is the outcome, it's not a good outcome, explain to me why you continue to do this. That's the board's role, to question.
Thank
A
you.
lot of people have the mentality, and please forgive me, I'm stepping on toes again. A lot of administrators, they can't tell you what to do. No, we don't tell you what to do. You're correct. But we have the authority to question, explain to me why you're doing this. Explain to me why you're having this done. No, we're here to make sure things get done. And when the question comes up, we, like Nelda says, we research the question. And you find out, wait, is this something that is wrong, or is this something that is right, but for whatever reason, this particular school or this particular teachers are having an issue with it, but it's being done because it's something that's done properly, then you need to address those teachers to get them on your same page and not be I'm in charge here, what I say goes. No. That's not how you move the school forward. That's not how you move, a platoon forward. You get them to understand why you're doing what you're doing and allow them to question you. Allow them to ask questions, and you show them why, how, when, where, and let them know. And there's things that are going to be continued with, they might not like it, and I apologize if you don't like it, but this is something that works. Please help us get it done. And it's a big, important to get everyone on the same page and allow them to ask questions. Like Farley was saying, you have so many children. It's not fair. It's not fair that you're going to put in 29 students because I'm a care partner in schools. And it's so funny to try to squeeze in a 5th grade class. They're adorable. But when you're sitting there trying to run something, make a presentation, and you have to concentrate on keeping the kids quiet and keeping the kids focused, some kids need a lot more attention than others. And that's just the way they're wired. That's just the way they're made. We can't force them to be what they were not born to be. But we have to fix how they are. Help, train them, find out what they're doing that can be changed, talk to them, help them understand. You can do so much if you get down to their level, understand them, and then ask them, this is what needs to be done. Can you help me and do this, please? Can you please not, get up and walk away to the trash can where we're having a conversation or something's being done? Can you please kind of wait because it disrupts the class? And the student will sometimes look at you and say, oh, I didn't think of that, I'm sorry. You just have to address it politely and not go and tell them, sit down and don't get up again. Okay, wait a minute, you just lost their respect. But we have to approach it in a manner that we have to fix it, and we have to bring those classrooms down. We need to bring those classrooms down and not say we have 28 and 28, we're only going to have 2 teachers. Wait a minute, that's too many. Let's balance them out, bring another teacher. Oh, we don't want to have a small number of teachers. Excuse me, that's how you educate children, where you have a class size, where you can reach them all and not have children fall between the cracks. Give the teachers everything they need. Let me just say one thing that I've heard a lot of. They run out of paper for copies. They run out of ink. They can't make copies. They're very limited in how many copies. Ladies and gentlemen, I make donations on a copy machine.
Minerva, can we stick to the topic of lesson plans, please? If you don't mind, because there's other questions that are coming in.
They're writing the lesson plans, they get information, they want to get copies of the paperwork, they're not being allowed to do that. The lesson plan is important, but we can't just focus on them constantly giving you a lesson plan, and do this and do paperwork. They're super boggled down, Mr. Caballero, with paperwork.
A lesson plan is essential, Ms. Peña. And as the principal of a school, I need my teachers to know where their kids are at, because this is the way we track their progress. You agree with me on that?
Yes, 100%, but not to the point where you have paperwork every 3 days, and who's teaching the children?
No, there's a timeline, Minerva.
I have heard they were told to give
No, no, there's, every school is going to be a little different.
I had teachers tell me that some of the principals are requiring that.
No.
No, is it something, sir, that is set in stone of what you can and can't do? You can only have them give you a lesson plan for the week or a lesson plan for so many days? Or is it something where teachers want, I want to know a lesson plan of everything you're doing every day? And
No.
I've had teachers tell me that they
I've-
have those 10 principals.
if I can interject, I've had principals that require us to put a lesson plan by the window every day,
Mhm.
and some that ask for a weekly lesson plan,
Mhm.
and some that they're okay with it. If you could just put the information on the board, they're fine with that. But there are some administrators that wanted it every day. I had 4 preps to make 4 lesson plans to put them by the window every day. I didn't have time to teach.
I think that would be more of an administrator at the upper level to kind of make it systematic a certain way. But if you have no plan, you keep coming back to the same problem. If there's no plan on
Let's move
how we're going to run this school district, because remember, every administrator at a campus is still an employee of the district. If there's a uniformity, hey, we only want you to ask for so many.
Right.
We understand that your campus is unique because everybody has a little bit of, what is that, site-based decision? I don't know if they still call it that, but whatever.
Yeah.
But
But
I mean, that within reason, there's got to be some things that are a little bit more reasonable. But it all goes back to, as a board member,
we
what's the plan?
yeah.
And let's see if we can find
I
something
think
that's
our
more.
policy should not be
equitable.
stricter than
There is no
this.
policy on that.
That's the problem.
That's
Well, the thing is, every campus allows
flexibility.
Certain autonomy.
flexibility. I know when I ran Garden Park, in their teacher handbooks, I had a schedule for 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, they had to submit their plan in terms of where they were at. The teachers met, they planned it, it worked together, and there was very little resistance to that. I think that they have to have a plan as to where they're going to be at the end, and we're requesting this
Sure.
from the board to the superintendent to our maintenance plan. Plans are essential.
Of course.
But is there a
Provision.
one way to do it?
No.
No. It's got to have some autonomy to the teachers, and to the administration, excuse me, as to how they're going to get those kids to meet those TEKs at the end of the year.
Every,
Caballero, you mentioned, you did it every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Mr. Caballero, there are principals that are asking for it daily.
yes.
What different stuff daily, different reports daily.
Yeah.
Mr. Caballero, I've gotten the call, I've gotten the question, and the only thing I was able to tell them up to this day was, go speak to the principal, go speak to the assistant principal. And they're like, I'm okay with speaking to them, but they're saying that that's what they're being required by higher administration.
Well,
So yes, we
Well-
cannot turn around.
At that point, we need to.
yeah.
Yeah.
At that point, we need to confer with them.
We need a plan.
Yeah, at that, that's where I was saying, at that point, there does need to be some kind of a plan with at least some kind of a flexibility to it.
Yeah.
All right, so let me, yes, let me, there's a couple of comments and questions here. How do you propose BISD recruit and retain good teachers when we are at the lowest paid in the RGV region, and we are also losing many educators to other professions rather than stay in education? That circle really hurts our students as the learning becomes gap. So I'm gonna go to Miss Rocha for that one.
I've always said, was it Jerry Maguire? Show me the money.
Show me the money.
You there's a level of respect. A lot of people will do a lot of things if you just show them the respect. And one way is to show them the money. Pay them what they're worth. Our budget is awry. We're in a hole right now. Is it because of where we're spending our money? Could that money go more into faculty pay, teacher pay, our staff? They should be getting more money than a vendor, than and I think there's going to have to be some tough decisions. I know there's we all like staff development when it meets our needs, and if we need it, we need it. But when you have certain apps, oh, I love this app, but I don't love that app, or I love this program, I don't love that program. You know, you have everybody complaining. But if we can find the ones that are really beneficial, maybe taking some of the money from those areas, we could then apply it.
Software, delete
From
some
the-
software.
Take some of that software that, you know, we do need to really look at the budget and find out how. That's one. The other thing is, Ms. Pena said it earlier, we're not there as a board member. I'm not there to be served. I'm here to serve. We need to, our teachers should be the ones in the photos with their students, because they're the ones who did the work. I'm okay if I'm not in the picture as a board member. It would be fine with me. I'd like to showcase that. They deserve all the accolades and the photos. And a board member doesn't need to be in every photo, do they? They're not the ones that were in the classroom doing the lesson plans, helping the kid go to state, or the band that went to, you know, this, that, or what have you, or the football team, or the whatever it was, baseball, soccer, pick whatever it is. They should get the accolade. People, once they're being appreciated, one of the nicest things I got from an administrator was on my birthday, we got to go out to eat, and you know, for my lunch, got a few extra minutes, and I got to go eat with my principal and talk about whatever fun stuff with the rest of the people in that birthday month. It's a little thing, but I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. Thank you, Mr. Caballero, by the way. He was my principal.
Okay, so let me go to the next. This is more of a comment than a question, and then there's a question right after it. But it says, sometimes administrators make too many assumptions during walkthroughs. Then when the scores come in and the teachers they criticize harshly during evaluations have to eat their words when the scores come in and the kids score amazingly high. They need to stop killing morale and the teacher's confidence. Okay? They act like bullies. Administrators that act like bullies are a danger to the health of the campus. And that's something that you kind of alluded to, right, Coach Farley?
Absolutely.
This question is for Mr. Caballero. Please discuss, or it's a slash comment. Please discuss how your leadership at Garden Park always made sure the kids had all the right devices and not old mismanaged.
Again, what we did is the development of the campus budget was essential. Every year, we put in monies to buy, and I was ahead of the curve when COVID hit us with the devices. All of our kids had devices. I had an extra 50 to 75, even before they started giving to us devices from the main office when they purchased all of that. I had extras. Why? I was prepared with my team. I was ahead of the game in every aspect of from supplies. Our supply room was always filled to the max. Our custodial, our computers. It's a matter of how you plan. But if you're not planning together, you're gonna be successful. You're gonna be short of things. My style of leading. Remember, as I said before, I manage the budgets. After we set them, I manage the budgets in my laptop and through the Quicken program. Every time I made a PR, I take it from let's say it was 36.99. So I go to that account, I deduct it after I approve the PR on the computer. I always kept the budget near and close to me. I come in Mondays, together with the secretary, and I said, I need for you to do this for the kids. I need for you to get me the teachers that are going to be in the chess tournament, because I need to make sure that we have everything together. But it's not about intimidation. It's about what?
Collaborate.
Everybody working together for the same cause. This is the misconception of what administration should be. And if we all learn that, and we have some work to do at the administrative level, because folks, I agree, There are some folks that think that they have to walk in there with a hammer. Not true. You ask people that have worked for me, they'll tell you. Was he demanding? Absolutely. Did he give you the supplies? The tools were there. If you didn't have the tools, what do you need? Because I still can go back to my budget and we can work on it and we can give you these things. But if we're not doing that, that's not helping the system. That's not helping the number one clients that we serve, which is the kids. And then how are we managing the staff? I don't know if that's just what the question really entails or you need any clarification.
I think that's good. Let me see. For Coach Farley. Mr. Farley has been a coach that has always made sure every student participated in all activities and no one left behind. Kids that could not play, he made sure they got a chance. Can he discuss how this impacted students that needed help and a mentor?
I'm glad somebody's asking that question. I remember coaching against Pace High School, and I had a student athlete that had just came out, and I was showing him the fundamentals, and he was playing defense, and I told him that I would play him briefly. Pace had a really good team, and I would pull him out because I thought he was going to get injured. I felt he didn't have the fundamental skills set. The parent was really upset and called me aside. I went to go speak to the parent. She says, I want my son to play more. And I said, yes, ma'am, but I want you to see something. There's a student that's coached to cut off his knees, and we teach him how to prevent the knees getting cut off and to protect himself. I haven't got to that level with that student. I can put your son in, but if they cut his knees off, it's a very tough hit.
Can you explain that? Because to me that sounds very
Aggressive.
I don't know anything about that's football, right?
That's
I don't
football.
really know.
Yeah, well, he was getting hit at his knees, right?
Okay.
But you're taught to protect yourself. Well, that particular student athlete had only been out there for a week or two. I hadn't gotten to that fundamental level yet. So I explained to the mother, if I put him in, he may, break his knee. And she said, don't put him in. I said, no, I don't want to put him in. I'll put him in when they put a weaker opponent, because, when you're ahead, they switch him out. So when they did that, I put the kid in, and it was just fundamental football. But I would allow all the students unless I felt they were at risk of injury. And then they understand, they're smart kids. But once we show them all the fundamentals, they can all play. And they should all play at the sub-varsity level. In the varsity, if you don't win, you're out. So
Okay, Ms. Peña, will you have the know-how to withstand the political division within the board to accomplish good things for our staff and students?
Repeat the question, please. You cut off.
Will you have the know-how to withstand the political division within the board? Ay, se me fue. To accomplish good things for our staff and students?
Yes, definitely. Definitely, because I'm a very firm believer that I agree to disagree. And when there's certain things that are done and politics is involved, and it's going to affect our children, you can ask former board or past board members, current board members. When it comes to the children, I fight hard. And the political views to me has nothing to do with taking care of the children. I respect what you think, but I think this is wrong. We need to do it this way. And I will work hard to make sure that it happens. Because to me, taking care of the child is more important than trying to make some kind of political statement or a political stand. No. It's about the children. It's about the students. It's about our future in our community, because they're the ones that are going to run our community. As we get older, we're training those children to come in and take our place in everything that we do. Very important. So to me, politics doesn't affect me one way or another, whatever you think of it. I'm still going to approach you. I'm the kind of person that will approach everyone at any time when I have a concern with that person. If someone says that person did this, that person did that, because they believe that this kind of political is how they think, I'll politely go talk to that person. because I want to make sure that they're on the right track. I want to make sure they understand everything that's going on and how their actions will turn around and affect our students. And if we think differently politically and they just don't like certain things, I will respect them for that. Because to me, liking each other has never been part of the plan. That is a huge plus. That is a huge benefit. But if it's not there, we still have to learn to work with each other
You still have a
and
job
move
to do.
forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to have chemistry to a point, right? We should be able to disagree and get really upset with each other. And at the end of the day, say, let's go have dinner.
Yeah.
You know,
It's professionalism.
yeah, nothing
Well, that's
personal,
our
nothing personal. We're all doing it for the students and the teachers and, and trying to help the school. And at the end of the day, we're going to have heated discussions and we may not agree. And we won't. I know we won't.
Mhm.
But it's going to be okay. I mean, we should be able to have dinner. I hope.
So let me get just one more question in, and then I'll read some of the comments, and then we're going to go ahead and log off because we've already been on for an hour.
I know.
I know this is curriculum, but what are your thoughts about implementing a good reading program for our elementary students? We need to celebrate and encourage reading.
Oh my gosh, that's my passion.
That's you, girl.
That's your
my
baby.
First of all, I would love to find out what happened to the accelerated reader program. We know that every campus had it. I know I used it at the middle school level. And you're talking about reluctant readers. But it's not cool to be in the AR program anymore. So I learned a lot about that program, and I really am a big fan of it. And I do think it can be utilized better. It's almost like something needs to happen. The world is changing. How children get information in short little clips. Yeah, that happens. But do you want your kid to just know everything based on a little clip? If they can't read and all they're using are the audios, how do they know if the audio is bridged? It's not the complete book. It's just the snippets of it. I've worked with some people that are like, oh no, just do snippets because that's all that's on the test. No, a child needs to have the reading stamina of being able to read a novel, to really analyze and think it through. I don't tell them how to think it through. I show them how you can think it through because you're role modeling in other areas. I mean, we live in a very divisive time in history, and people are not trying to get informed about what's happening. They're taking some little snippet of what somebody says and putting that as some kind of gospel. And no, our kids need to know how to read. And I think parents need to really be almost educated of why we want them here. This isn't okay. It's not for us. Been there, done that. It's for them. And yes, something bigger, greater, smarter, a reward system, whatever it's going to take, because these are our children and we want better for them.
We want a literate community.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Aren't you all tired of being on the least literate nationwide? Just saying.
All right.
Well, I agree with that 100% if I may, Miss because I'm dyslexic. And God gave me my youngest child dyslexia. And when he was young, he was so stressed out about being unable to read that he thought he was not smart at all. And one thing that I love is the fact that we got him to start reading. And I want to throw this snippet. I got him into the chess program. And the chess program builds up confidence like you have no idea. When he went in there, learned that game, and started winning, became one of the top players, and won the national first place with New York, it just lifted his spirits. I can do anything. I can read. And I got him help reading. It was amazing how he felt, the confidence that he could do anything. So reading is so important. And the ACE program has helped so many people. It helped my granddaughter so much. I am heartbroken that I hear that it was canceled because it's too much money. There is no limit to the money you can use for children. There is no limit because there are tomorrow. And people, we need to pay attention. because I have been paying attention and looking at this throughout the country. Our education system is being attacked. We are the best country, and I sound like a broken record, in the world, because we're the only country that mandated you give me your child to educate him from the age of 6 to 18, Monday to Friday, or I'll fine you and put you in jail. So what are we trying to do to bring the country down? Affect the education. And the people in education in charge, administration, people at the top, people at nothing. Pay attention, people. Get the education of the children top notch. And like Miss Nelson said, reading is so important. Not just little snippets. No, reading is so important because guess what? Everything is in the detail. How many times have you heard you read a contract, but you look at the detail? The details where they hang you, you signed it and go, I didn't sign for that. And I'll show you, look, it's right here. But you're not taught to read the whole thing because of the way that the reading is done at school. Like Nelda said, oh, just read the snippet because anybody else anything that's going to question you on the test. No, ma'am. No, you can't do that because it's unfair to the children. Reading is priority. Reading is essential. Reading is the gift that makes you the best person you are and you will succeed at anything you do. And it's so crucial. And I pray to God we find some way to bring the ACE program back. It is top notch, especially for a district where the reading level is so low. How can we do that?
Thank
We
you.
need to take care of the students. We
Yeah.
need to
Appreciate
take care of
that.
the
Thank you.
Yes. I'm gonna go ahead and read some of the comments that are here, and then we'll go ahead and say goodbye, and we'll see you guys next week. But Mr. Caballero inspired my neighbor's nephew to think about finance as a kid. Till this day, her nephew says Mr. Caballero talked about money literacy. You brought that up, so we'll maybe talk about that at the next one. You are obviously a wonderful principal, Mr. Caballero. It's not the case at every campus. Many great teachers have been chased out of school by tyrannical so-called leaders to the loss of the students. That is correct. Miss Nelda, fellow teachers I know speak very highly of you and how you help new teachers feel welcome. Will you make sure, I'm not going to ask this question, we'll ask it next time, but it says, will you make sure new teachers get welcomed by principals? Some schools left them out. Ms. Peña has shown herself capable of being civil with and working together with board members who have been rude to her for the good of the district.
Nobody said anything but me, but I still love them.
That's a question. The accelerated reader incentivizes kids to read high quality literature.
Mhm.
Accelerated reader is necessary. Students don't read books like they used to. They have to be taught at the elementary level to love reading books. That's correct. What a breath of fresh air from qualified educators and advocates. Experiences here in this table, and I seek cooperation, listeners, and respectful. Thank you for your time with AOB Reform. Thank you, ma'am. These are more questions. I'll write these down for the next one. The AR is no longer how it used to be. I don't hear it much in middle school, mainly in elementary. Yeah, that's true. As board members, please push back against TASB. They recommend horrible things like getting rid of librarians and other vital personnel. So those are just some of the comments. I'll write down some of these questions because they're good and we can bring them up for the next time. So there was apparently an incident that happened today, and I don't know if you all would like to address that or if you all want to wait for the next time that we meet. That's up to you.
Yeah, you can
Yes.
start it. Well, today we had an introduction, basically. I'm a member of Barcy, and I'm second vice president at Barcy, and they had the like a forum where basically 3 minutes to say who you are, and everybody was there. Ms. Peña's, your statement was read, but towards the end, there was a photo opportunity. They requested a photo of all of us together. I was standing I was standing between these two gentlemen, and everybody was around. And I know a video was apparently posted or something, but as I'm standing there, I was verbally attacked by one of the candidates and called the B word. I have It's hard for me because I have been assaulted personally. Sorry, guys. So when somebody gets in your face, the first thing to do for me is to walk away. And so that's what I did. And I really want to publicly thank Mr. Caballero for being the gentleman that he is and protecting me. I'm a little person, and he was there for me. And I want to thank Mr. Trevino publicly because he stepped up for me. And I appreciate these gentlemen so much because there were other people around. None of them. None of them. This is BISD. This is a school board. What's going on? Why is this seat so important that they would come to attack me? I just don't understand it. But gentlemen, thank you so much.
Of course.
Let me say something. First of all, I wasn't aware what was going on until I heard some commotion. Erasmo Castro is, first of all, when I was doing my presentation, interrupted me. I didn't interrupt anybody. I was being very nice to everybody. Conversations were being made in among us. At the end, as Nelda just mentioned, we have this gentleman. Well, I have Erasmo Castro who is attacking her, and I have to say, not only is Nelda a candidate for the school board, she's a grandmother, she's a retired educator, and a member of Varsity. I have to tell you, when I approached, and I'm also being attacked because the gentleman doesn't like what he sees on my financial reports, I gotta tell you, I am playing based on the rules of the game. And for him to have done this, I will step in at any time to prevent bullying from happening. I advised him to stay away from me. I advised him because he started using profanity towards her first, then to me, and then he accuses me of throwing punches. Folks, never was there a punch thrown, never was there a pushing. I needed to reach Nelda to make sure that she was not being bullied. You know, I have this is a, a race. This is a race to help kids. It's not a personal vendetta. I don't know if candidates realize that. It looked like I'm going to say this from what I'm seeing. This is a planned action, and he himself, Erasmo Castro, wrote it in paper or on his post that he staged this, and it was very clearly staged, and it looked like others were involved. Folks, don't let those things fool you. I'm not the person that they're painting. I will always come to the aid of a lady. That's who I am. That's who I will be. And I was not at all in an attack mode. I want to make sure that everybody knows that. I think it's so unfair, but I'll tell you this much. I'm not backing away from what I stand for. I'm ready to serve, but I have to tell you, I will not stand for the behavior that happened, especially if you're a candidate for the board. You're not even running against me. You're not running against Nelda Rocha. Stick to your lane. I thank you for giving us this opportunity to address this issue. You can see the emotional distress that this young lady here had. I will always come to rescue anybody. It could be somebody's spouse, somebody's daughter. That's not tolerable, and it will not be overlooked. Thank you for your time this afternoon. I appreciate it, and I want to thank AOBE once again. You're on top of the list with us. Thanks a million.
Thank you so much.
This is a very professional.
If I may interject with what Mr. Caballero said, That is unacceptable conduct. That is wrong, and that is hurtful, and if it starts there, it's going to get worse. Now, Doc, I strongly recommend to go file a restraining order. Listen to me well. You need to go file a restraining order tomorrow. Because if this person gets somebody to follow you and hurt you, you know who to go to. Now, I'm telling you this because I was on the board a total of 15 years so far. One of those times I was on the board, I was followed from TSC to Four Corners. I was being chased at 100 miles an hour, trying to hit my vehicle. What I am blessed with is I know how to drive and maneuver a car to stay away from other cars. That's how GPS practice. I'm on the phone with the police. The police are on the phone with me because someone told somebody they were going to hurt me. And unfortunately, it came from someone who claimed it came from the board at the time who didn't like me. And I got to the Four Corners. I was able to get away, found the information, the record, and everything. Now, don't file a restraining order because you know who this person is. I could only file the license plate and the vehicle because I didn't know the person. I couldn't prove who the person was. But I filed the police report. Now, don't file a restraining order because I went through what I went through several times. My husband and I were chased. They came to our house, followed us home. And me being me, we have a dead end. I knew it was coming back. I walked up to the street to see who the vehicle was. My husband, what are you doing? I'm getting all the information. And these were not good people. Now, the father is getting it on. I want to thank everyone for being here tonight, for listening to everything we have to say. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here to serve you, to protect you, to honor you, and do what is good and right so you can continue to build our children's education, to keep this community number one, and to keep our education system in the nation number one. Ladies and gentlemen, teachers need to be paid what they're worth. Teachers need to be paid what a doctor makes because teachers make a doctor. Teacher needs to be paid what a lawyer makes because teachers make the lawyer. Teachers make everyone. Teachers make the president of the United States. Everyone. Teachers are the core of all the good things and that people have accomplished because all of us went through an education system in this country. And let's make sure we keep it going and don't let anyone destroy the education system. Thank you very much. God bless you and enjoy the rest of your week. And Nelda, please file that restraining order. Please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody who's on this evening with us. We will be back next Thursday. Next Thursday will be a little bit later at 7 o'clock. So we look forward to seeing all of you online. If you have any questions, like I said, please submit them in here in the office, or you can put them in here in the chat. So some of these questions that we didn't get to here in the chat, we'll bring them up the next time we meet. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you.